But Utopus, who gave his name to the island when he conquered it, previously it had been called Abraxa, and who transformed its backward, uncouth, and disorderly inhabitants, so now they are more civilized and sophisticated than those of almost any other nation, was not satisfied when he had decisively defeated the inhabitants in his first assault. He then ordered that a 15-mile wide stretch of land that linked the peninsula to the continent should be cut away, turning it into an island. He did not force only the native peoples to do the work, but to ensure they realized there was no disgrace attached to physical labor, he ordered all his own soldiers to lend a hand. With the work shared among such a vast number of laborers, the job was completed with incredible speed, and the neighboring peoples, who had first laughed at such a foolish undertaking, were both amazed and terrified when they realized it would succeed. The island has 54 cities. Each one has open spaces and magnificent buildings. They all share a common language and culture, and they all have the same institutions and laws. Insofar as their locations permit, they are all laid out on the same plan, and their buildings resemble one another. The distance between the two that are closest together is 24 miles, and none of them is so cut off that you cannot walk to another city within a day. Each city sends 3 old and experienced representatives to Amarot once a year to make decisions on matters of concern to the island as a whole. The city of Amarot is the seat of government because, being placed like the hub at the center of a wheel, it is the location that involves least inconvenience for the representatives of all the other cities. No city is preoccupied with expanding its frontiers, for they think of their territory as land to be worked rather than as estates to be owned. Throughout the countryside, situated at convenient intervals from each other, they have built houses and equipped them with agricultural implements. The citizens of the towns take turns spending periods of time in the country. No rural household has fewer than 40 adults in it at a time, and each house has 2 slaves permanently attached to it. There is 1 man and 1 woman, both responsible and mature individuals in charge of each household, and a phalarch in charge of every group of 30 households. Each year, 20 people move back to the city from each household after they completed a 2-year stint on the island. They are replaced by the same number of people newly arrived from the city, so that those can be trained by those who have been already there for a year and are consequently more experienced at farming, just as they themselves will train their successors in a year's time. For if they were all equally ignorant and inexperienced when it came to farming, the harvest would suffer as a result of their incompetence. This pattern of consistently renewing the agricultural labor force is the norm, in order to ensure that no one is compelled to endure a harsh way of life longer than necessary. But many individuals whose character is such that they positively enjoy working on the farm obtain leave to stay on year after year.